Hello, today we are going to talk about the ethics behind social media. So let's first talk about what is social media. We know what the internet is, we know about applications such as TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and those are social media. So, social media are websites and programs that help people talk to each other, get involved, share information, and work together. At this grade level of fifth grade, typically you guys are using social media to connect with friends or get information or sometimes even communicate with family that might live far away that you don't get to see every day. Let's talk about some facts. So, teens, and when I talk about teens, I'm talking about ages 13 to 17. 97% of teens use the internet daily. So, think about that. Is that you? Do you use the internet every day? And you guys can all answer yes, you do, because we use it every day in this classroom. You guys use it for math with our Big Ideas program. You guys use it for Open Court when you're submitting your assessments and assignments. Now, 46% of teens use the internet almost constantly. So this isn't just in class, but this is also outside of school, when they get home from school, at night, after dinner, before dinner. 46%. That's a lot. That's almost half this classroom. Okay, of our social media outlets, 63% use Snapchat daily, 60% use TikTok daily, 59% use Instagram daily, and 75% of teens report having more than one, active social media accounts. So that might be, I use Snapchat every day, and I also have Instagram, and I have Facebook, and I also have a TikTok account that I frequently visit. Okay, before we really get started, I want you guys to turn and talk. And I would like you to think, what information do I put on social media? Why do I have these accounts? What am I sharing? So maybe you guys discussed some things that you put on your social media accounts. Now I want to talk about, what should I be posting on my accounts? What's off limits and what is okay? So here are the top 4 things that are safe to post on your social media accounts. Your first name. Don't make up names. Your first name. There's a lot of people with that first name. Even though it might not seem like it at this school, there are a lot. So finding you might be a little bit trickier just based off your first name. Your state. Your state is special to you, and you can post what state you live in. There's lots of people in the state of South Dakota, and so posting what state you live in is okay. Your age. Be honest with your age. If your app that you're on says you can't be on that app until the age of 13, maybe you need to think, should I even be on it then? Post your age. And your interest. Okay, even though your interests are special to you, that's okay to post. That's not going to give away who you are right off the bat. Okay, now let's talk about, what should I not share on social media? Do not share your school name. As much as we want to show school spirit, don't share it. It's too easy to find you once I have your first name, your state, and your school name. Don't post your last name. That's when we get pretty specific here. Do not post your phone number. You don't want random people calling you. Do not post your city and address. This one seems pretty obvious, but you'd be surprised how many kids I see posting social media right outside the Ellsworth Air Force Base main gate. It's pretty obvious once you're standing out there doing a TikTok in front of that sign of where you're located. And never share your passwords. That one seems pretty obvious as well, but you'd be surprised how many people make jokes at their passwords or using the same passwords or putting their passwords into sites that aren't safe, not realizing that they're sharing those with people who will not keep them safe. Let's do some practice. So I have 2 profiles here, and I want you to think, just because one has a lot of information doesn't necessarily mean it's not safe information to share, but I want you to take a look at these and decide with your partner, are these safe? So I hope after thinking about it or discussing it with someone, you guys agreed that Brecken's profile is going to be a lot safer than Joshua. Joshua gave away his actual location, not so safe. He gave away his school name. He gave away what time he will be online and home alone. That's a big no-no. And he gave up his phone number. Brecken kept it short. She kept her generic location, but still going to be pretty hard to figure out who this person is. Okay. So that kind of leads into identity. Who are you online? Hopefully, when you answer that question, it's the same person that you are in person. But it can be hard sometimes, especially with all the content that we're seeing every day. How do we not sit and compare? And that's where it gets tricky. So keep in mind that when you are scrolling through social media and seeing some of your favorite social media influencers, that profile pictures and information aren't always true. Just because someone posts that their name is so-and-so and that's the picture that they chose for their profile does not mean that it's them. It doesn't even mean anymore that that's what they look like. That might be them, but they might have altered that picture so much that it really isn't them anymore. Keep in mind that with social media, there's no authenticating process. So going in and creating an account, there's no means of making sure that the person who's creating that account is actually them. So you can make an account being anybody you want to be. And while that might seem like freedom, it's not, right? That's stealing identity sometimes. Just because a person claims something online does not mean that it's true. If you see someone posting some great accomplishment and bragging or trying to make you feel less than, keep in mind that might not always be true. Sometimes people like to make themselves seem different online than they actually are. Next, don't compare yourself to what you see online. So we kind of talked about that already. These influencers, they like to put on a persona. And while sometimes that persona might be true, you never know what's going on behind the scenes. And don't compare yourself to the digital life that you're seeing. Next, focus on friendships and fun, not on content and curation. This is a big one. Think about social media as being a way to connect with your friends and family. Okay? Don't think about what am I posting? How do I create more of it? How do I keep people viewing me? Because is that really meaningful? Next, never seek validation from social media. That means your self-worth and your happiness should not be reliant on how many views you get on a video or how many comments you get of people saying nice things to you. Seek validation from other things like real friendships or real family members that are there or your successes. Okay, let's turn and talk real quick. What is cyberbullying? Have you ever dealt with cyberbullying or know of someone that has? Let's think about that for a minute. Okay, so let's get into some statistics of cyberbullying. So over 60% of teenagers, and remember teens are 13 to 17, have experienced cyberbullying. That doesn't include those kids younger than 13 or older than 17. Middle schoolers who experience cyberbullying are twice as likely to commit suicide. That's huge. Cyberbullying has doubled since 2014. And that seems like a long time ago, but it's really not. Doubled, that's a lot. 92% of America agree that bullying is a major problem. So we know it's a problem. We all, not all, but most of us acknowledge that. And lastly, about 75% of attacks happen on Facebook. That's an interesting one to me. Okay, what do we do when we come in contact with cyberbullying or hear of drama that could lead to cyberbullying? Even if it doesn't involve us, you must ask yourself, would I be willing to say this to a person's face? Is a person saying this to me willing to say it to my face? And if you're not, maybe you shouldn't say it. And if they're not, then maybe they don't actually mean it. Or maybe they're just saying it because they have that confidence behind the screen. Next, protect yourself. Adjust your settings. Can you just let anybody comment on any of your things? I hope the answer is no. You should adjust those settings to protect yourself from mean comments. No one deserves those being thrown at you. And probably your close friends that follow you aren't going to say those things to you. So adjust those settings and your privacy. Make sure your accounts are on private. I can't tell you how many of my students I see on social media unprivated. Not only is that dangerous because you guys are children and anybody can access your accounts and do with what they want with those images or videos or information that you're giving. But also, these people that you don't want to be friends with at school shouldn't have access to ridicule or mock you either. Okay, the biggest one, report anything threatening, anything related to a mental health crisis, and bullying. So you can report it to a teacher, you can report it to your parents, you can report it to your counselor at school. Even if it doesn't involve you, you scroll and you see something and you're like, ooh, that is scary or that is a little iffy. It's better to be safe than sorry. And next, advocate for yourself. If your social media is not doing you any good, advocate for yourself. Do I need to take some time away? Do I need help adjusting my settings? Do I need to speak to an adult about things that I'm seeing or hearing or doing on social media? So now that we kind of come to an end on this, let's reflect. What is something that you can change in relation to your social media accounts to make your online usage more meaningful and positive? Even myself going through this, I can think, can I limit my time a little bit more? Do I need to be wasting that much time on social media? What else could I be doing? Could I be picking up the phone and calling a friend? Or maybe I need to go through my friend list and really get rid of some people that I either don't talk to anymore or that I even don't know who they are. So think about it. So I'll leave you guys with that thought for today. Social media is kind of a beast. It can be so positive and so fun, but it can also be a negative space. So let's think about how we interact with social media from here on out.